Okay, live.
Oh man, this was a tough one. This was a tough one, but that's why we're here so we can talk about it. So let's get into it. What's good, Knicks Nation? Welcome to another KFTV post game live. We are covering the New York Knicks facing the Chicago Bulls at Madison Square Garden. Look, New York Knicks defeated the Philadelphia 76ers last night and looking to extend or get their first winning streak of the season. They were hoping to come back home after mollywopping the 76ers in Philly and just starting their first win streak. But when you start watching this game, you can see that the legs were a little tired. These guys had a little slow start. Chicago Bulls came out here hitting their shots from the jump. You had Vooch, you had LaVine, all right, you had even the Sumo getting into the mix. All these guys were starting to knock down shots, and it just looked like it was going to be the worst for the Knicks. At one point, not even entering during the third quarter, they were down 22 points. But hey, inspired basketball started to come around. Karl-Anthony Towns leading the way, just being the dominant offensive center that he is right now, playing like the best center in the East, making sure to keep the Knicks into this. Jalen Brunson as well, trying to man the ship. Both these guys just doing what they can so that the way the Knicks can continue on the fight, on the good fight that is. But unfortunately, getting to the fourth quarter, after pulling their way all the way back from 22 down 22 points, and even taking a lead, this fourth quarter went wild. They were trading punches left and right. You had Karl-Anthony Towns just knocking down threes. You had Josh Hart making quick decisions, doing spin moves. Then you had LaVine knocking down threes. The Sumo making critical threes. Kobe White knocking down critical threes as well. This thing would keep going back and forth between each and every team. And what it came down to was a Josh Hart foul on Kobe White with seconds to go after the Knicks took the lead, and Kobe White knocks down all three free throw attempts. And just when you think it could have been sweet with Jalen Brunson putting the moves on Patrick Williams to get the game winner, gives us the Kawhi bouncing out of the rim. And unfortunately, the Knicks would lose this one to the Chicago Bulls. New York Knicks fall to the Bulls 124 to 123. Man, wish we even got overtime for this one, man. But hey, let's talk about it. This is a tough one to get over, but hey, make sure to call in. We're taking calls through the Discord. We got the phone lines up and ready to go. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We need to hear your thoughts, man. Look, this was a rough one to lose. I wanted this one, JD. I wanted this one. I wanted the Knicks to get on a winning streak. That way, go get a 2-game winning streak. Get a little break in between. You get the Brooklyn Nets twice this weekend, and then get on that 4-game winning streak. We're not gonna get that We're not gonna get that anymore. And the Knicks are back under 500. What are your thoughts, man, after watching this one?
Oh man, just like the emojis in the chat, I'm just like this. I'm just like, oh my God. This is a tough loss. This is a tough loss. Um, it's good that it's happening early in the season because this loss gets a little bit tougher as you go on in the season and you're fighting for seeding and all that stuff. But tough loss because of an unbelievable, a historical, a tough performance. You talk about answering everything that has been said about him previously before he became a Knick with Karl-Anthony Towns. I mean, to have a performance like that, to play as many minutes as he did consecutively there late in the game, to pretty much, get tested in terms of, his toughness, health wise, because it looked like he had some knee to knee contact there with Zach LaVine. And you know very well, for those of you that play sports, when you get a knee to knee, it could quickly, your muscles could quickly get tight on you. Sometimes it hyperextends your knee. And sometimes, it gives you a deep bone bruise. So it's not easy to get back from that and to finish the game the way that he did. And yet that's exactly what he did. So the storyline was building, right? Like Brunson didn't have a Brunson type esque start, but then look at the way the game finished, where Brunson, the captain, was looking at Karl-Anthony Towns and he said, "Don't worry, I got your back. I got your back." With those, couple of clutch plays that he did offensively. So everything was just building into a great celebration in the post game. But it did not happen, and we'll discuss some of the reasons why. There's definitely something that the Knicks need to address here defensively as a team, especially considering their goals are much bigger in the bigger picture in terms of being a championship contender. And so, in order for them to do that, they're going to have to definitely get into the lab, into the film room. A few of these players have to look in the mirror, and they're going to have to step up defensively so the Knicks can elevate their team, and they can start racking up wins. They're 5-6, and it's early, but we need to start addressing some of these issues. We're almost getting there where, okay, like what are we going to do to get better in these areas? So tough loss, but there's some positives they can take away from this game.
Absolutely, man. Tough loss. Many things to take away, many things to work on for the upcoming games, man. And look, thank God there's still more games to go, so that way they can get ready and get right for when postseason comes. But let's talk about some of the good stuff first before we get into some of the bad, man, because, well, we just got to start with Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, good God, this man was just dominant, for the first couple of games. You're just asking for him just to keep getting the ball because we saw whether it was Brunson finding his shot or whatever it may be, how the offense was just naturally flowing, and sometimes it would just stall out, even though it's still performing at a high level. The ball would just somehow not get back into Karl Anthony Towns' hands in these previous games where you're like, yo, Cat should just have the ball because no one can stop him offensively. Like knocking down threes, driving, doing all this stuff. And you're like, why are we not finding him? But tonight was that night. Tonight was the night we were like, okay, keep feeding Cat. Cat's going 18 for 30, man, getting you 46 points, 6 of 12 from downtown, 4 for 8 from the free throw line, 10 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals too. Can't forget that. But man, this guy was just putting on one for 39 minutes. This guy was putting Vooch in a blender. You could not stop him. The pump faking, the drive, everything. When you needed somebody, when you needed a bucket, this guy, you just gave it to Cat. You're right back in the mix, man. Absolutely right back in the mix in this entire game. And
Keep going, Alex.
it
Keep going.
sucks. It sucks because this is the game where everyone's calling him the big bodega, right? Everyone's calling him the big bodega. This game would have been the complete unraveling of the big bodega for sure. If you get the win on top of that, and then to grind it to, as you talked about, he get the knee bumped when trying to guard LaVine as well, and just watching grimace. You see the torn jersey, everything that represents New York was going to be that tonight. And really, the big bodega, you could have put the big bodega in like in Times Square because that's how this performance was going. If you get the win to seal it, to back it. But my God, man, you just wanted to get the win for him just for tonight because was one hell of a double performance. But Karl Anthony Towns, man, I'm like, wow, quite the first 11 games to be a Knick. He has just been on one.
I don't know, Alex. Are you impressed?
I am very impressed.
Is he good?
He is good.
Is he talented?
He is very talented.
Is he a beast?
He is beasting right now.
Is he a grown man?
He did give you a shoulder roll not too long ago, but yes,
is
he is
he
playing like a grown man.
Is he answering some allegations?
That he is.
Did they take him to Dykeman? They probably did, because man, this guy has. I mean, to get an opportunity to watch him every day now, and listen, he's having, in many respects, a career year to start. He's never had this start in terms of, in NBA history, a player starting at a franchise for the first 10 games going into tonight. He's the only player to average the numbers that he was averaging, 24, 12, shooting the percentages he was shooting from three, from the free throw line. Like overall, and listen, to do this on the second of a back-to-back, right after you had a battle with Embiid, had a battle with Andre Drummond, some physical guys coming in on a back to back, and now you're facing Vucevic, right? So he's challenged there physically, and you saw some of the fatigue with the Knicks, but he was one of the players that kept them within the ball game. Like Cat was a big reason why you were even within the game, why this game didn't even go into 30 and 40 points.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was mentioning, it's so tough to have to celebrate because at the end of the day we lost. But man, if you're talking about a guy that is elevating his game, and you know what's funny, it's crazy to me because with like some of the criticism that he's faced before he came here, some of the questions that we talked about that he needed to answer, some of the challenges. I mean, this is a guy that in the his first home preseason game at the Garden, he talked about the whole post game how, yo, this is a different animal playing here. And that's the preseason, how nervous he was to make his debut, home debut at the Garden in the preseason. So I'm thinking, okay, Cat, all right, let's get it together now. It's preseason. I don't want to hear you this nervous. And you see it around sports. We talk about this team needing time to gel and get chemistry. How about individual players that go into a franchise? Paul George has had a very slow start. He had a good game last offensively, but he's gotten to a slow start as a Philadelphia 76er, right? Like, so we see it around sports where a player that enters a pressure market, a big market, sometimes needs some time to gain the chemistry with his teammates to perform in that market. And I mean, we talking about other questions around the team, and Cat's not one of them in terms of a player coming into the franchise and getting it together. Like offensively, this guy has responded, and it doesn't seem like, if anything, it seems like he's getting comfortable in this environment. If
Mm-hmm.
anything, it seems like, he already knows what his role is going to be. It seems like some of the other guys need to catch up in order for all this to gel together. And the other takeaway I had from this is, man, when Brunson gets some of those nuances, like he's almost getting there, but when he gets there, yo, they're gonna be scary as a duo. They're definitely gonna be scary, and even for him defensively, I can't wait till Precious gets back. I can't wait till Mitch gets back because I think that will get some pressure off of him. And I still think he'll be at the five. I still think he'll be a five, but at least for those minutes off the bench and some sprinkling minutes with him at the four, he has a lot of pressure right now defensively, especially because some other players are not stepping up defensively.
Mm.
They're not stepping up their A game, right? So it's putting more pressure on Cat. And Cat already is not a great defender. Some of those perimeter players are not stepping up. But other than that, historic performance from Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, the performance was so great. CP just popped up in the background.
You're right. I mean, we're watching
CP wanted to join the show.
producer CP out here,
You know,
making a guest appearance
CP
out in the
wanted to give
background.
his 2 cents. That's how good Cat was tonight.
Maybe we will get producer CP to chime in at some point later throughout the show. But look, we're talking about Karl Anthony Towns. This guy is so upset with how things ended. He stayed afterwards. Everyone's left the arena. Everyone is cleared out. No one's in there anymore. And he's putting up free throws, man. He's putting up free throws because he's not happy with how he performed. This guy who's been shooting free throws lights out when 50%, 4-8, as I mentioned. And those shots, they add up. And you talk about, hey, if he gets just two more, this is a win, you know, in the grand scheme of things. So you see Cat's just, his heart is in it, his mind is in it. Everything's pointing in the right direction where he's dedicated to the Knicks and making sure that this thing is right. And this is the stuff that you want to see, man. This is like, even though he doesn't have the C on his chest, this is where you talk about the quiet leaders, right? Where they lead by example. And so when you see something like this, a guy who got traded here, a guy who is trying to make sure that he's not stepping on everybody's toes, a guy who's trying to fit in and make sure that he's not looked as like this guy who is going to take over like the spotlight for Brunson or anybody else. This guy's doing what he needs to do, which is making sure that he's right for any game, any situation, and you just love to see him staying afterwards, putting up free throws. Well, hey, there's other guys we got to talk about. let's go into Brunson before we really get into where the real issues were. Because you know what? Tonight, Brunson took a step in the right direction, being a scorer and a playmaker tonight. Obviously, if he knocks down that last shot, we're talking about Captain Clutch all over again. But Brunson, 9 of 20 from the field, 3 of 9 from downtown, 3 of 5 from the free throw line. Got you 8 assists with the 24 points. I thought Brunson was doing a good job facilitating tonight and just being the playmaker that he was. Not the greatest night from Brunson, but I thought it was a right move. It's a move in the right direction just because look, everyone's talking about him. He's getting all the criticisms right now saying, oh, everyone's figured him out. Everyone knows how Brunson is. You know, you just put some wingspan on him and you're going to stop him. This is a guy who just needs time. He's adjusting. This is a whole new starting five. I mean, you go look at the picture last year, how we started last season. We had Grimes, RJ, Randall, and Hartenstein. This is a completely different starting five. And so he's trying to figure out where does everybody like to get their shots, making sure that everyone fits in, making sure that the number 2 option, Karl Anthony Towns, is fitting right in, even though he's putting up numbers like a number 1 option. Let's keep it a beam. But he's trying to make sure that everything is right and that he can be that facilitator. And the growth for him this season is not being that, heavily relied on score that we saw the last 2 years. He's got the team now. Now he's got to be that guy who can score when need be and also be that facilitator to keep everybody involved and engaged as the game wears on. And I thought this was a step in the right direction. Wasn't the greatest performance from Brunson tonight, but I thought it was a step in the right direction nonetheless.
I mean, for a guy that's averaging 24, 3 rebounds, just shy of 6.5 assists, shooting 46% and 38.5% from three. Oh boy, has he been figured out? Has he like that? These are the numbers that he's put up, and yet because of the newfound territory that he's joined, which is the superstar standard, the superstar status. Because of that, the expectations, the attention to detail from the fans, the attention to detail from the naysayers, the attention to detail from his opponents has elevated, right? Because this is yet another season now where the whole league now knows, we expect the Knicks to have minimum 2 All-Stars in this All-Star game. We expect the Knicks to be, a threat to the Celtics, potential, NBA Finals contender. So everyone knows that now. And I talked about how you're gonna get everybody's best because of now the New York Knicks matter. And so you couple that with the fact of a new team, the fact of I don't know if he really got to train. Think about it. He had an injury surgery on his shooting hand. And this might be, I believe this is the first off season that he's had where he hasn't had a smooth training off season. So it's going to take him a little bit more. But with all that said, right, in the fourth quarter, he was 2 of 4. He was 50%. Could have been 3 or 4 if he would have hit that game winner. He had 3 assists. Give him credit on this point. I know how fans are. He campaign had that run, right? And you start to think, okay, is he gonna finish the game with campaign? Is he gonna bring back Brunson? This team is rolling, right? They made that comeback, and then Brunson comes in, and I start to think, I'm like, I'm gonna be very interested to see how Brunson blends in now. Is he gonna come in and take the game away? Is he gonna come in and try to be the closer early? He did not do that. He had 3 assists. He came in and he was distributing the basketball. He came in and he tried to fit in. And then he developed and he snapped that switch and he turned into a closer late. Where when Karl Anthony Towns, we all saw it, he was gassed. Karl Anthony Towns cannot close his game for us. I mean, he was barely walking out there to end the game. Brunson said, I got your back. That last shot, that's all we needed, man, for this to have been such an amazing post game and a story. It's just that last shot was in and out. But I think this is a step in the right direction for him because even if let's say if they would have not won, if they would have won the game with him on the bench, I still think that would have been great experience for him because the team was able to learn how to play without him on the court. And then when he came in, he was able to understand how to fit in and close the game. So even in a loss, you can take a positive out of it. And I think that's a big takeaway for Brunson himself and for him to build on for the next game.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I see people in the chat saying, "Well, he most of those assists went to Cat." We can't have it. We can't have it both ways. We can't say feed the guy, and then when he starts tallying up assists, we say, no,
What
don't
about
do
hold on,
that.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. What about the one that he passed to Hart and Hart gave it to Cat?
Mm. You
Hockey
got to think about
assist.
the hockey assist too, right?
You got a couple of, and it doesn't matter. Let all nine, let all of his 7 or 8 assists be to Cat. That's what
That's what I'm
we're
saying.
actually trying to figure out their 2 man game. Like that's part of the equation here. They need to continue to build and develop. So to me, it doesn't matter where he gets the assists as long as he's developing the all around game, which is what the team needs at this point.
Absolutely. Now, JD talked about some of the bright spots.
We got all that out the way.
Yeah, now let's get into the ugly because we could start with one Mikal Bridges who was guarding one Zach LaVine for a good portion of this game, and Zach LaVine just decided to get activated, go 12 of 17 from the field, get 31 points, 4-8 from downtown, 8 assists, 7 boards, 2 steals, I mean, Zach LaVine. I mean, yes, I'm just reading off all of Zach LaVine stats, but the 31 points, the 8 assists are really what I'm looking at because Zach LaVine was heavily involved in the Bulls offense, was heavily activated in this offense, and you couldn't slow him down. At one point, I'm like, why aren't we putting OG on him? We saw OG on DeSumo for a second. I'm like, wait a minute. Why do we have our best defender not guarding the guy who's hot right now, who's literally taking to everybody in transition, who's knocking down threes like there's no tomorrow? Like, what are we doing here? And this is just the uneven play of Mikal Bridges, man. I understand that he's trying to figure it out on offense, but defensively, we brought him in here to get the designated nickname that we can't really use, WingStop. And as of right now, it's been a true mixed bag of a defensive performance from him right now. No resistance really from Bridges when guarding LaVine tonight. And you see what happens when you just don't get into someone's grill and have to make them work for it. They get really comfortable. They can step into shots. They can then, start to put you on your heels and start doing whatever they want to do. And now you're playing, now you're truly being, you know, you're just being reactionary and not the aggressor. And that's what Bridges has to learn is how to be the aggressor. And we've yet to see that. And we need that because we need this premier perimeter defense because we look, as much as Cat is doing a solid job or a great job really offensively, and he's holding up okay on defense, we know he can't be the safety valve. That's not what he's been in his NBA career. And to make it work, you need the perimeter defense to be stout. And we're not getting that on a consistent night to night basis.
Listen, I've talked about how his lack of physicality and aggressiveness, assertiveness defensively, it's concerning to me. It is because there's different types of mentalities when you're a defender, and you have that right now showing on the New York Knicks. OG is aggressive. OG is nasty. OG is physical. OG is strong. And yet, yeah, I understand Bridges doesn't have, the strength, the shoulders, the weight that OG does, but that doesn't mean that you can't be a little bit more aggressive. That doesn't mean that you can't, he's dying on like things are happening too easily. And like even as I'm saying it, I'm just surprised. Like I'm really surprised um at just the mentality being like so like just I want to say the word soft. And I'm sorry, but that's
Mm.
just what I'm seeing right now. I'm not seeing enough like just aggressiveness. I'm not seeing enough like as an individual defender, uh, like what Iman Shumpert when he was a Knick. Iman Shumpert used to take these matchups personally. He used to get upset when people score on him, right? Like you have those defenders, those the Tony Allens, like the guys that really take like they take it personal. And Zach LaVine, listen, Zach LaVine is a talented player. I mean, it's not like he can go out and say, well, a role player cooked me or anything. But it's because in the NBA, everybody gets their numbers, right? And sometimes people are even surprised how you call someone a good defender, and then you look at the box score and he got his numbers. But that's why you have to watch the game, because you have to analyze, okay, if this player averages 24 and he still got 24, he got his season averages, but how did he get it? When did he get it? What was his efficiency doing it? And how many of those points did he actually get on that specific defender? And Mikal Bridges is just letting things, it's like guys are just going by him too easily. And I don't understand it. I really don't understand like that aspect of it, where he's showing the good stance, he's showing the good technique at the start, but then he's giving certain players too much space, and then certain players that he shouldn't be too close, then he gets up close. It's like everything is backwards right now. And it's very it's concerning. Again, it's concerning for me because of the mentality. I don't see the approach there. I don't see the attitude there. And I don't know if it's something that's along the lines of the adjustment period. I sure hope it's not who he is. I sure hope this is not just like, hey, this is what you're gonna get. Like, I sure hope this is just early in the season type of thing. And for those of you that say it's early in terms of as a team. It's early in terms of chemistry, but defense travels, man. Defense travels. You can get lost in rotations because you don't know the scheme. You can get lost with your teammate because you don't know the scheme. But individual one-on-one defense, I don't need any coach to tell me what system I'm in order to play that effectively, right? Like your attitude travels, your approach travels, your mentality travels. And right now, we're not seeing that consistently. He had a great night last night defensively in Philadelphia, but right now we're seeing one good game defensively, one bad game defensively, one good game defensively, one bad game defensively, and it's something to monitor, um, and to have his back a little bit. It's early, but the coach, I want to see some adjustments when this happens. You know, with a minute and 44 seconds left, guess what? OG defended Zach LaVine. You know what Zach LaVine did? He took a step back three from like 30 feet and missed it. And what I thought at that moment, I said, oh, Tibbs made an adjustment. OG's gonna finish the game on LaVine. That just happened to be a one possession thing. The next possession, Bridges was back on LaVine. I didn't understand that because you saw the Bulls, who they put on Brunson to end the game, Patrick Williams. You saw the Bulls, they even took Vucevic away from Towns to end the game. And they put a smaller guy on him, but Billy Donovan says, I'm going to switch this up because it's not working. So I'm not going to do that type of analysis on Thibodeau yet, but in the future, it's okay. Forget the egos. Thibodeau talks about everybody needs to be a team. Everybody needs to sacrifice. Well, I'm hoping him as a head coach, he does that too, where it's like, listen, if this guy doesn't have it, let's put OG on him. It's okay. Bridges, you got the next matchup. This is why we're a team. So let's see how he plays coming up, but definitely a cause of concern for me for Bridges defensively.
Salute to Knicks Nation. Thank you all for tuning in for another KFTV post game live. With me on the other side is my guy JD. I'm your host for tonight, Alex Gutierrez, aka the Stratocaster. All right, unfortunately, the Knicks lost this one to the Chicago Bulls, 124-123. Just if Brunson hit that last one, man, if he hit that fadeaway, baseline fadeaway over Patrick Williams, would have been a different tune, man, a different story tonight. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And look, hop on the Discord, hop on the phone lines. We want to hear your calls. We want to get your takes in tonight. We're going to go straight to the Discord right now. We got Ari from Manhattan on the line right now. Ari, unmute your mic, my guy. What's going on?
What's good? How does the mic sound? Am I good?
You're crispy clean, my guy. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. Salute to you, Alex. Salute to you, JD. Keep doing the good work. Sigh. What I'll say is this. I'll start off with the negativity, and then I'll end on a positive note. So, trading 4 unprotected picks, the Milwaukee Bucks pick, which is looking like a top 10 pick right now, and a pick swap. So 5 picks and a pick swap for a 3-and-D player is crazy. Trading 5 picks and a pick swap for a 3 and get flamed every other game player makes it potentially one of the worst trades in NBA history, especially now that Giannis is rumored to be out or what on the market or whatever the case may be. We literally gave up 5 picks for a 3-and-D player who doesn't play any defense, who's not even the third option. He happens to be the 4th option right now, and he lets everyone fillet him. But it's early, so we'll leave that alone. I remember when Tomato Gang used to throw the tomatoes when I gave that take. No, not too many tomatoes now, huh, guys? Anyway, let's hope he gets together. I'm not gonna give up on him yet. But listen, man, heartbreaking L. But I did see some silver linings. Number one, this team has not played well defensively at all this year. Jalen Brunson has been lackluster, to say the least. And it's a brand new team, and we're still like around 500, right? Which is where I predicted we would be, through 15 games of the season with Jalen Brunson playing well. OG looks aggressive, maybe not tonight, but just overall he's been looking good, right? But Karl Anthony Towns, man, this guy is a different animal, man, and he's so talented, he's so skilled. He makes the game so easy. He makes quick decisions. He's efficient. And the most important thing is that I saw more effort from Karl Anthony Towns in a back-to-back game in November than I saw from Julius Randle in 4 years, okay? In 4 years, I saw more effort in a random back-to-back game for Karl Anthony Towns. Dude looking like Patrick Ewing out there with the knee pads, man. Limping, giving it his all, doing everything he can, man. That's what's going to matter in May. We're going to make the playoffs, whether we're a 6 seed or a 2 seed or a 4 seed. It doesn't matter. We're going to make the playoffs. Jalen Brunson will end up getting it together. This thing will click over time. But what matters is your mental fortitude. What do you have in the clutch? When things get tough and you're tired and you're out of breath, are you going to give up? Are you going to not play defense? Are you going to just space out? Or are you going to leave it all on the line? So I'm very proud of Karl Anthony Towns, man. You learn from more. You learn more from losing than you do from winning, man. This is part of an 82-game season. Let's hope Tibbs adjusts. Let's hope not Randall. Let's hope Brunson gets better, and let's hope Nickel gets better and things start clicking. But I'm not going to look into it. I'm going to give it at least 20 games. But salute to you guys. I appreciate it.
Ari, let me ask you a quick question. What is one thing for you that has surprised you about Karl Anthony Towns' game? Is there anything that you see him now as a Knick that has surprised you individually about his game?
His passing, man. He's a really good passer. People talk about his raw assist numbers. He's averaging like 2.7 assists, and they're like, "Oh, he's not a good passer." The dude is a very, very good passer. The passes he made yesterday were great. He reads the game really well. He's kind of like a quarterback out there. So what I would say, like, we knew he could shoot. We knew he had a lot of talent, right? We knew he could score. I didn't know he was able to pass that well, and I didn't know his decision making was that good. So those are the two things I'd say that surprised me about Karl Anthony Towns. I didn't know about until he became a Knick.
Very good points. Very good points. Salute to you, Ari. Appreciate the call in, man. And as Ari said, man, look, salute to you, man. As Ari said, man, still a long season. There's a lot more to go. But this all sucks, man. But as Ari also said, you learn a lot from losing, man. And look, it's good that the Knicks are getting their lumps now, because sometimes you get if you're winning easy to start off the season, you get a little comfortable, and then next thing you know, you got to make adjustments at the middle of the season. It's a good thing that they're learning all this stuff now, can make the adjustments now, because you want to be prepared when you got to face the Boston Celtics or any other team, man. Even the Indiana Pacers. You want to be ready for them as the season wears on. So salute to Art, man. Salute to Art for calling in. Salute to Bleacher Report, man. We're doing a simulcast right now for BR. Salute to all you guys. We're gonna end the show. We're gonna end the stream right here on Bleacher Report. So if you want to keep up with the show, make sure to come over to YouTube, find KnicksFanTV, and just come join the channel that way. So that way you can continue to get your Knicks fill. All right, guys. We'll catch you later over on Bleacher Report. Stick around on the YouTube side. All right, man. Let's keep getting down to the Discord and keep taking calls. Gonna stack up the lines here and just want to hear everyone's takes on tonight, man. So let's start off with Tone. Tone, unmute your mic, man. What's going on? What's going on tonight? Tone going once, going twice. Tone, are you there? Nah. Oh, Tone dropped out. All right, the Knicks fix. The Knicks fix. Are you there?
What's up, Alex? What's up, JD? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. What's going on, my man? How you feeling today?
What's going on, man? It's Roland calling again from Queens, man. So, watching this game, man, just a few quick pointers. Ready? So, what I noticed is McHale, right? In the first half, he gave up 19 to LaVine. OG switches on to LaVine. LaVine scores 12. The guy is not fighting over any screens at all. When they brought in Deuce, guy fights over screens. He's playing with with a like I think JD said, he's aggressive. He's fighting over screens. He's getting up in these guys' faces. The other thing I wanted to point out, man, is sometimes there's a lapse with Tibbs, coming down the stretch of these games. For instance, why was Brunson on that last play where Colby was fouled by Hart? Why wasn't Deuce in the game guarding the inbound defender? But some positives to take away. Brunson's coming back slowly, but I think Cat earned the right to shoot that last shot. I don't know, man. We need our centers back. That's the first thing for sure. We gave up 50 points in the paint tonight, but yeah, maybe I think when we get back our centers, man, play Precious, probably put Josh Hart to the bench, have Mitch in there with the bench too. But it really starts at the top of the key, man, with Mikhail.
So wait, Roland, you wanted Cat to take the last shot in this game with seconds left after just, banging knees with LaVine, looking exhausted, just putting the team on his back. It didn't look like he had any more legs under him, man, when he was trying to take some threes. You wanted him to take the last shot over Brunson?
True, true. I think, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely a good point. I think the thing is though, when Jalen Brunson goes in there, we know that he's relying on his, he's getting down there in the post. He's got to shake some guys off. Whereas Cat, when he shoots those threes, man, it's almost like you're feeling like it's gonna go in, like it's automatic. That's why I think based on the rhythm of the game, obviously, JB's a Cat, but Cat had it cooking, man. But I definitely hear where you're coming from, man.
All right. Well, appreciate the call, Roland. Thank you for calling in, man. Stay tapped in, my guys. Stay tapped in. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah.
JD, are you giving Karl Anthony Towns the last shot in this game? I mean, we just talked about it earlier. You looked exhausted. Do you really want to do you really want to put the last shot in the hands of a guy who doesn't look like he had any more legs? Or were you okay with Jalen Brunson taking the final shot of this game?
The thing with when it's tricky when you have like 3 seconds because sometimes to get a one-on-one opportunity, you kind of need that, maybe a few more seconds, especially Cat, because Cat likes to, stare you down and then just go right by you with that quick first step over big man where he drives right and he's at the rim. With 3 seconds, if as soon as he gets the ball, if guys on you, he's on the perimeter. Are you gonna get a great shot? It's tough, So unless you design a play to where maybe from the inbounds he's getting the ball on that first pass in the low block to where he's closer to the basket and he can make a couple moves and get a decent shot from distance. Unless you can do that, it's a little tough to access 7 foot big man. But in this game, in terms of we're talking about this game, any other game, it depends how the games go. But Brunson just hit the last 2 shots before that, and they were both clutch shots. He had the mid-range shot over Patrick Williams, right, where he hit that jump shot, and then he had the drive on Patrick Williams at the rim. He was 2 of 2. So I was totally fine with it. But yeah, I mean, if you want to say add into the story 46 points, at that point, I didn't mind. I didn't care. You're already up against it. Once you foul Kobe White, he hits all 3 free throws like it's nothing. That's another thing too that people forget. It's like when it's us, we always miss a free throw. It seems like, right? Every time is our turn to hit a clutch free throw. It's like we always go 1 for 2, and then here comes Kobe White. He goes 3 for 3 at the Garden. Of course, right? So it doesn't matter at this point. We lost.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with you. Let Jalen Brunson take the final shot. I think Cat. Look, man, dude was banged up by the end of this game. You don't want to overexhaust him and put that much pressure on him at the end of the game. I get that, I get that they're all paid to do whatever this much, but JB legitimately, as you just said, came in, gave you 2 clutch shots. I'm fine with him doing it. He's done it in the past before. I'm gonna keep rolling with my guy JB to take the clutch shots. So not too worried about it. All right, let's get to the next caller, man. Let's get to the next caller on the line. Let's see who we're going with. Semi-auto 155. What's going on, Semi-auto? What's your name and where you calling in from? Semi-auto 155. Are you there? Testing.
Hey, can you hear me?
There he is. What's your name and where you calling in from, my guy?
What's up, man? This is Al from Harlem. What's
What up,
going on,
Al?
Alex? What's up, JD?
What's going on?
What's going on, man? What do you think about
I
this
just
game
want to
tonight?
talk about that last defensive possession, man. I'm a big Tibbs supporter, but man, I feel like that last defensive possession was really bad on him. First, why is JB in the game at that point? He shouldn't have been in the game. We should have put in Sims. And then on top of that, what was Jalen Brunson's assignment on that play? If you look at him, he did nothing. He should have flashed to Kobe and stopped him from shooting the three. Instead, he just stood there. Then Josh Hart would have never had to come like try to close out from behind them so hard. JB was an absolute cone on that last play, and he should have helped Josh Hart. He did nothing. We should have put in Sims, who's longer and can impact the shot a lot better than JD. It's a total bonehead move by Tibbs that he's better than that, man. He's got to be better than that. He's got to take that one on the chin and take some responsibility for this loss.
Wait a minute. Who you putting Sims in for? So wait, what's the closing 5? Give me the whole closing 5 that
Take
you're
out
talking about.
Brunson. Brunson shouldn't be in the game. He didn't do anything on that play. Bring in Sims for him. He's longer, you got length, and he can impact a shot better than Brunson. And Brunson, look at the play again. Brunson did nothing, man. He absolutely didn't do nothing. That's why Josh Hart closed so hard. He wasn't even guarding the ball. It was Giddy inbounding the ball. So play off with Giddy. He ain't shooting a three. He's not doing nothing. They messed that up, man. Tibbs messed that up. That's my take, man. I appreciate you guys taking my call. I love the show. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate the call, my man. JD, what do you think about that one? You are you putting Jericho Sims in over Jalen Brunson? I don't know if I can get with that, man. I don't know if I could put Jericho Sims over Jalen Brunson in the final closing seconds of a game. What are your thoughts on that one?
I think I get it because when you have a couple seconds, there are some coaches that say, well, what are the chances that the guy that's inbounding the ball, unless he's the superstar, like what are the chances he's going to get the ball back with, only so many seconds. So I get that some head coaches do put in a 6'8", 6'11", 6'10" guy to try to disrupt the inbound pass as most as you can. So I get that. But the other side that you could say to it is, even if you use Brunson, maybe the technique could be taught better, where Brunson is falling back and he's looking at the action, but he wasn't really affecting where the action happens. The action happened at the top of the key. You could make the argument he could have shifted more over to try to cut that passing lane. But then is Brunson that type of guy to, do that type of defensive technique, because he's not even known as a defender. So I can see the argument of maybe putting in an additional defender on defense. I wouldn't mind that at all, because guess what? If this was the playoffs, this would be a question that we would be asking. It's game 11 or whatever it is, so it's like whatever. But if this was the playoffs, everything about the way that they ended the game would be very much analyzed under the microscope.
If anything, I would have gone Deuce McBride. I mean, that's the guy that can fight over screens. That's probably the best perimeter defender. You know what I mean? Like outside of OG, if you're trying to keep somebody on the hip of Kobe White, that's the guy I'm looking at. So I can understand doing that. Like,
And Thibodeau has done that in quarters.
He has.
To end quarters, he's done that. So that's what I'm saying. It's not a bad take, because you could make the argument. And guess what, Alex? To your point, if Deuce is in the game, guess who he's guarding? He's guarding Kobe White, and Josh Hart's the one guarded the inbound pass in terms of the matchups. That's how it would have went. So, it is what it is at this point.
It's tough, man. It's tough. But hey, you know what we got to do, man? We got to pay some bills. So let's go over to one of our sponsors of the night, Skims. All right. Look, guys, I know you've heard CP talk about it. Look, this underwear is great. I mean, I can't even complain about it. It's breathable, lightweight, comfortable, protects what you need to get protected. Okay. Uh, truly enjoy just the quality of the Skims brand itself, man. So when purchasing, I recommend purchasing Skims. I recommend everything about it. It's just a comfortable underwear. I know it's an uncomfortable conversation to have, but gentlemen, you want to have something that's breathable, that's lightweight, that makes you feel like you can do anything, absolutely anything. So I recommend going to Skims, one of our sponsors for tonight. Okay. You can go to Shop Skims. You can shop Skims Men's at skims.com. Let them know that we sent you. Use that promo code KFTV. All right. When you place your first order, select KFTV in the select podcast in the survey, and select our show in the drop down menu to let them know that you heard about them through us. Okay. Highly great quality, man. Look at this. We got Skims right here on the line. You got so many different things. You got your briefs. You got your you got your boxer briefs, 3-inch seam, 5-inch seam, whatever you feel, man. Whatever you feel fits your fancy. But just remember, when you get them, no testimonials about the underwear whatsoever. All right, but make sure to support our sponsor, Skims. All right, use that promo code KFTV. All right, let's get back into it, man. Let's get back to the Discord. Let's get back to the lines. Let's see who else. We got Sayquizzy on the line. Sayquizzy, what's going on, man? Unmute your mic. What's happening tonight?
What's up, man? Back to being a little depressed.
Yeah, it's too much on and off, man.
I was praying today we was going to go like a little winning streak with these little games, start building some distance in the East, but we figured a way out to lose again. Like that first half was sloppy, like turnovers after turnovers, missing wide open shots. I'm like, man, this is bad. Like I'm praying they get it together, cause this one hurt. And then the play with the Josh Hart, I had a feeling we was gonna bail them out with like free throws, and I was praying it was not from like the 3-point line, but we ended up doing that anyway. Like,
yeah,
so
the bailing out with free throws is the absolute worst feeling. I think the worst part of that foul is that it was just all hair and nothing else. It's not like he even hit Kobe like at any point, man. Where it's like it's so questionable if that was actually truly a foul, and to go out like that, it sucks, man. Because we just battled our way back from 22 points. But come on, man. You sound way too depressed, man, for so early in the season. Come on, man. We got to keep it together now.
I was praying they ain't call a foul, but I had a feeling just like last year with like the Houston game where they call a foul at the end. I was like, out of anything, if they shoot a three, just put your hands up, don't foul. And it happened. And then we had to do the buzzer and the ball went and it came out. I'm praying we bounce back. I'm praying Cat is okay because I don't even know if he would be fine for next game because he was looking hurt out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm praying we start building up some wins because it's a little annoying winning a game, losing a game, winning a game, losing a game. I'm praying we start getting some wins, like at least 2-3 wins. We lose, all right, but losing, winning. It's kind of annoying, but that's all I gotta say.
I appreciate it, say Quizzy. Appreciate you calling in, man. JD, I get it, man. It's frustrating when you keep winning and losing, and what makes it even worse is that we went on a little losing streak. You know, last week we lose to the Pacers, the Rockets, and the Hawks, and these are winnable games, man. Even tonight, it becomes a winnable game, even though for most, especially throughout most of the third quarter, you're like, this team could have packed it in, didn't have to worry about like, second night of a back-to-back. We'll wait for Brooklyn this weekend. We get to play them twice. Let's rest up. We'll have a day off in between as we face the Nets as well. But then you get back into this game and you're like, oh, well, this is the talent. This is what we were looking for. And if you want, I guess, any silver lining, even though almost win, I don't really take anything out of almost wins. The fact that they were able to lock in and score the way that they did and really clamp up the way that they did. I mean, even though we can get on the defense, like they had to defend at a high level for a stretch of this game in order to get back into it. I mean, we could talk about the end of the third quarter where you talk about going on a 17-0 run. Bulls don't score for 4 minutes straight, and you see what is it? You just see Josh Hart do a spin move, he attacks, you get a stop, Bridges knocks down a mid-range, get another stop by Deuce McBride. Then you go down, you get Towns with a pump fake drives to get a spectacular dunk to bring it within 5. Then you get another stop to end the quarter, and you're like, okay, we're locking people up, we're getting back into this game. And then we did get back into this game. So if anything, if you want the silver lining, this team has the capability of doing it, especially when they're down by 22 points. That's no easy feat. Obviously, getting the win makes it that much better, and you can talk and you can rant and rave about it. But if anything, it's like the small, like, all right, you could see the glimmer there of what this team could potentially be.
Listen, the defense has to get better. It just has to. Their only hope for coming back is because the Bulls went 2 of 9 from 3 in the third quarter. They shot 22% from 3 in the third quarter. But even in that quarter, the Bulls shot 54%. Like the Bulls for the game shot 53.7% and 39% from 3. And so they still shot well even in the quarters that or in that third quarter where we just stopped the 3. And this is why this new basketball is a game of math where they still shoot over 50% in a quarter, but because they went 2 for 9, we were able to come back with, Karl Anthony Towns being hot in the second half. So at the end of the day, their defense has to improve. I mean, we're talking about championship aspirations, and they're 5-6. And as you mentioned, you're in the East right now. The East is full of parity. You're the 4th seed at 5-6. You're 3 games back of the Celtics for those that want to, watch the standings in Game 11. But I tell you one thing: they better be 8-6. They better be 8-6. I'm telling you, they better be 8-6. In that game, they're going into Phoenix on ESPN national television. They better win these next 3 games because you have the Brooklyn Nets back to back, and then I think you have the Wizards before you play the Phoenix Suns. And depending on what happens then with Kevin Durant, that might be a game you could also say they better win. But for now, for the next 3 games, they have this opportunity right here to get over 500, get a couple games over 500, and maybe take off. Maybe go on a little run where you can create some separation and let's see, because we didn't get encouraging news today with Precious Achua. He has not been cleared yet for contact. He hasn't been cleared yet. So let's see what that means. The timetable was 2 to 4 weeks. I think he's entering week 4 now. So he's right around the end of that timetable. So is he a week or 2 weeks away? We'll see. But this team does need another, because of Mikhail's struggles right now, Precious and Mitch, at least Precious in the more immediate future, is definitely missed right now.
Yeah, it's the defense just needs to get better, man. No doubt about it. Let's get to another call, man. Let's see who we got here on the line. Let's give Tone another opportunity to get up here and give us their take. Tone, what's going on?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's going on, Tone? What's your name? Where you calling in from?
It's Tone from Milwaukee.
Tone from Milwaukee. What up, Tone? Calling in from Milwaukee. What's happening? What are your thoughts about this game?
Heartbreaking. I kind of figured it was gonna go out that way, man. I'm happy we fought back. So that shows that we're moving in the right direction. To go to Bridges real quick though, Bridges never was a good one-on-one defender. He was more like a team defender. So when he was in Phoenix, they used a lot of like team defense. So it was like him and I think Cam and somebody else, but they was usually a good team like defense. Like he was never like a good one-on-one player. And I remember when he went on Jalen podcast, and he admitted himself that he took a step back defensively when he went to the Nets. So I think he just try to. I think he got to try to just be average. But I think our problem with our defense is it's just the center, man. We just need Mitch back. I think Mitch will is like the final gauntlet, like just a stone. He just the final piece to our defense that will fix all of OG's and Mikel's mistakes when they blow past them. Uh, I also agree with that other caller. I think Cat should have took that last shot, man. I love Brunson. He was killing, but Cat was on fire, man. And even if he'd have went up, they probably would have called a quick little foul or something. But I think Cat should have got it, man. But
So
that's it, man. I hope we win these next three. We gotta win these
I just got a
next three
question for you.
games.
I got a question. I got one more question for you. I got one more
Okay.
question for you. So you said things will be solved when Mitchell Robinson gets back, and I know this has been a hot topic amongst the Knicks fan base. You putting Mitchell Robinson in the starting rotation, or you having him come off the bench? Because you're talking about him like he's the last Infinity Stone. So how does that work out in your situation?
To be honest, man, I'll put Mikel on the bench and let him kill with that unit. So he could come in with pressures and stuff, and then Cam and they. I think he'll be better on the bench because then he'll get his touches. He feel like he's more involved. I think the problem with him now is he's it's like his offense dictates his defense. So when he's not shooting well early, you see him start getting blown past and all that other stuff. But when he started shooting well, when he's making a comeback, you saw him. He was up on people. Like his defense got a lot better during that run we went on. So I'm like, I think it's more. He needs to go to the bench, leave Josh, and because Josh does everything for us, and he's like damn near our best rebounder. So I'll leave Josh and I'll put Mikel on the bench. And once Mitch come back, and I think that defense will be formidable. We'll be good. And then if situations come, you could put Mikel in depending on how the game is going.
Okay, gotcha. Appreciate the call, Tone. Appreciate the call. Tone saying that you put Mikal Bridges, the guy that you traded all those picks for, on the bench, and you start Mitchell Robinson when he gets back. That would be a tough look. I'm just telling you that right now. So now I can only see the headlines now, the New York Post, the Daily News, every other media outlet. Knicks trade X amount of picks to put this guy on the bench to be that bench scorer. That's not going to happen, man. As much as I understand that Bridges is struggling, that is not going to happen. Even when they paid Evan Fournier to join the Knicks, they gave him that contract. And we saw how awful that defense was. We just wanted the kids to get the run back in those days. Evan Fournier was still trotted out being there because it was a cost that you made. There's no way Bridges is going on that bench. Absolutely not. JD, your thoughts?
Yeah, I also disagree about that Phoenix Suns team being all about team defense because, you had DeAndre Ayton, who's not a good defender. He was a center there. And definitely, I remember watching that team closely. Obviously, there's also a lot of film online. He was a beast one-on-one in terms of one-on-one defense. He was very, very good. I mean, even then, he was keeping up with quicker guards. Like he just had better angles, better technique. But he's taking a step back. And listen, it's early, but the Knicks are going to have to start to consider, if this continues, switching up the game plan and starting using OG the way we had him last year. I mean, last year, who was our Mikal Bridges? Based on his reputation, who was our Mikal Bridges? Because the 6'4" DiVincenzo was the other guy we had in the lineup. So who was it? Right? We didn't have him. And what was OG's role then? OG was the one guarding point guards. OG was the one that was guarding everyone. And you see that they're trying to give Bridges more of. It looks like the guard, point guard slash 1-2 combo. They're trying to give to Bridges, and maybe the stronger guy. They're going with OG. So they're trying to play a more traditional because that's what you do when you have quote unquote multiple defenders, versatile defenders. But if Bridges struggles or inconsistency continues, and it's not reflecting in the record, it's reflecting losses in the record. You're the coach. You're gonna have to start to be creative in terms of the defensive assignments and the defensive game plan. Which then, as I tell you, if Precious is not here and Mitch is not here, it's gonna continue to put more pressure on Karl Anthony Towns at the 5 spot when you're talking about playing the pick and rolls, because Towns is already not a strong pick and roll defender. But when you have Bridges, Bridges is not supposed to be dying on these screens, on these picks like that, right? Karl Anthony Towns is supposed to be struggling when it's him and Brunson, right? Maybe him and Hart. Hart is not as quick versus the quicker guards.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to have enough coverage to cover it when it's OG in Towns or Bridges in Towns. And it's not happening when it comes to Mikal Bridges in terms of at this point.
It's not. It's not at this. It's not at this point at all. And as you said, I mean, one thing was like Brunson and Cat. It's like, oh, okay, they're hunting those switches. To watch WingStop, man, it is closed right now. It is
just one wing.
There's only one wing, maybe 1.5. Maybe we because Josh Hart's part of that wing. Maybe 1.5, 2. I don't know how you want to go about it, but
because you're okay. Because I don't know. I had it as them too. I don't really have Hart as a wing, but yeah, I guess
he needs to be included, man, because he can go out there and do the damn thing too. But hey, let's keep this thing moving, man. Let's get into the stats of the night, brought to you by DraftKings. Shout out to our sponsor, DraftKings. All right. So Knicks lose this one, 124 to 123 to the Chicago Bulls. Going down the stats, JD, you look at these things. JB, I'm calling you Brunson. I know everyone likes to say that you look like Brunson a little bit, but JD, we look at the rebound battle. It is tied, man. Both the Knicks and the Bulls both got 40 boards. They tied with 31 assists each, too. Bulls defeated the Knicks when it came to the steal category, 10-7. They also defeated the Knicks when it came to the block category, 6-3. Knicks had less turnovers than the Bulls, 15-18. Bulls shot very well from the field. Knicks shot 51%. Bulls shot 54%. From downtown, Knicks were on fire, shooting 40%, but the Bulls kept up with 39. And then when you get to the free throws, this is where things got a little dicey. 81% for the Chicago Bulls and 68% for the New York Knicks. And then when you start getting to the points in the paint, Knicks won that battle 58-50. Second chance opportunities. Knicks slightly got the edge over Chicago, 10-9. The Knicks lost this one gratefully, 26-14 when it came to fast break points. To me, man, I'm always looking at fast break points, and when it comes to like how well the Knicks are going to perform in any matchup, I just feel like when they're able to get out and run and just dominate in that category, they have a better chance at winning than not. And then obviously the free throw shooting tonight. Gotta hit your free throws, man. All this came down to free throws in the end. Kobe White just knocking down his free throws. Knicks struggling to get theirs. Those are the two key categories for me tonight. What are your takeaways?
Well, Vanilla CP. My key takeaway is, listen, it's gonna continue to be the defense with a Bulls team. You're just not supposed to be giving up this type of efficiency, and you're just not gonna win games. Giving up 54% and 39% from three. Both teams shot relatively the same amount of threes. The Bulls 36, the Knicks 37. Not good enough. And then the free throws, as you mentioned, the Knicks only shot 3 free throws in the first half, to the Bulls 10. And the bench, I didn't think the bench showed up in the first half. They didn't. Campaign obviously had a good second half, but the Knicks in the first half, they had 3 points from the bench.
Mm-hmm.
And they had 10 points in the second half from the bench. And the Bulls gave you 29 total bench points. And the reason, I'm going to focus on the bench here is because when you're on the second of a back-to-back, and I know they didn't travel much from Philly to New York, but there's still some sort of travel. And obviously, I hate giving this excuse to a team in Game 11. I mean, I'm not going to do it, but it frustrates me seeing how lackadaisical they were. And then obviously everybody in the media is going to automatically attribute it to the second of the back to back. First of all, the NBA has already adjusted the schedule. So this back to back thing, teams are not going to play the same amount of back to back games this season as they have in the previous seasons. But it's just so frustrating to see, you went from Philly to New York. Like, why are we coming out like this? Like, why we look so, like, you look tired. Like, I can't even believe I'm saying that. But is it really that? I don't know. But it looked like that. So I guess that gives a little bit of credibility to the whole back-to-back thing. I just don't understand the athlete today and these teams where you have technology, you have all this money, and for whatever reason, they go on a second of a back-to-back. You literally could go across the street. Yesterday, you could have played on 104th Street, and tomorrow you play on 105th Street. You walked one block, and you're still tired. Like, I don't get it. But the second game of the back-to-back, that's where you need your bench. And McBride, I know he's dealing with something. Maybe that has something to do with it, but he didn't come out aggressive. Only took two attempts in the first half. I think that was the difference in this game when you really look at it is the bench early did not help the starters, and therefore you were down 22, and then you had to have that, heroic comeback, which, the Knicks came up short.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the key stats of the night. Brought to you by DraftKings. And look, everyone out there, every point counts with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code KFTV. That's code KFTV for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 160 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. All right. And remember, use that promo code KFTV. Use that code KFTV for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you just bet $5. Shout out to DraftKings, man. All right, man. Let's wrap up here. Let's take one more call for the night. Let's see what we got here, man. And then we can head on out of here. Jiggy.
I'm here.
Jiggy, are
I'm
you there,
here,
man?
Jiggy. Alex, I'm here.
What's going on, Jiggy? What's your name? Where
I'm
you calling
calling.
in from, my guy?
I'm calling from South Jamaica, Queens. My name is Jiggy, man. I just got back from the game too.
Oh, snap. Tell us about it. What was the atmosphere like, man? What was the atmosphere like before,
Man,
before everything started to
amazing.
unfold in the last few seconds?
The first half was slow, of course, because of the back-to-back. First, it was very slow. Then we picked it up third quarter. Zach LaVine, very hot that first half. He was scoring 3-point line, hash every time he shot it. The crowd turned up that third quarter. Cat was in his bag, scoring it, shooting threes, dunking it. It was great. It's just that fourth quarter, Josh Hart fouled Kobe White, and it was just like, damn, bro. So other than that, it was a great game. I enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it all the way through. Well, I'm glad they had a good time at MSG, man. What are your takes about tonight? What are your thoughts? Are you in panic mode? Are you worrying about this team, or you're just like, hey, everyone, just chill out. It's okay. There's 70 some odd more games to go. We're still in this thing.
Yeah, we're still great. Honestly, I feel good watching it up close. We watched Cat almost drop 50. Like I swear, I think that this was a good trade for us. We just gotta just be patient, keep faith, and Knicks Nation, we here. Like we're good.
Man, Jiggy being optimistic. What anything else you got to say, Jiggy, or any other comments about tonight's game, or anything on the season?
Deuce was quiet. I feel like that was really like why we came up short. Deuce had a very quiet game. Other than that, I can't wait for pressure to get back. And we just need to get healthy and just play great basketball, great defense, great offense, just great period. But we're good. No worries, we're good.
Salute to you, Jiggy. Salute to you for calling in, man. Salute to you for going to tonight's game. And hey, Jiggy ain't worried. Jiggy's saying, you know what? Relax, everybody. We still in this. 70 some odd more games to go, man. No need to get yourself out of whack yet. Still got to gel, man. This team still has to gel. They still got to figure it out. We still got to wait for the bench to fully get healthy. We got to wait for Precious. We got to wait for Mitchell Robinson. JD, you're a believer that once we get those two guys back, even Landry Shamet, man, you know, who's still recovering from separating his shoulder, you know, you think we got reinforcements on the way back that's going to make a huge difference for this team?
I'm, you know, I don't know that we're going to get a lot of scoring reinforcements from the options that we have available, because Shamet is more, he's a streaky shooter, and I don't know how many minutes he's actually going to get. This is going to come down to Deuce being aggressive every single night, Campaign being a spark plug, an energizer bunny, and to me, Precious is the key, because he's not going to give you scoring, but he can stop scoring. And I hope that difference is what's going to make the difference in him being a very valuable piece off the bench. Is his defensive acumen is going to help the team get additional stops, or maybe gel where everyone else can fall in line. And maybe that right there is already help, because everything off the bench doesn't have to be all points. Sometimes having a rim protector off the bench, having defense, getting stops on a team that's already offensive minded is going to be valuable. Let me ask you a question though. Any part of you, as you were watching Zach LaVine cook, any part of you was like, man, I wish we'd be nice on the Knicks. Somebody like that would be nice on the Knicks. Now I know that can happen. His contract is crazy. But he's a talented scorer, bro.
Very talented scorer. He's like in that. He's another player where it's like, because he goes back and forth, man. You saw last season where he was trying to get traded, and he was like, "Yo, I'm checked out. I don't even want to think about this team anymore." So no one wanted to trade for him. Now he's like, "I guess I got to deal with what I got." That's too much for me, man. I want people who are like dedicated, locked in, want to play basketball, who are committed, man. I can't do all of that.
Right. If he's healthy, I have a feeling he'll have like a cat type of, not like this in terms of number wise, but like I could see LaVine just because he switched up his attitude, because he understood, like, listen, nobody's trading for me because of the contract, and he was being a bad teammate.
And his injury history, man. Like, we got to keep that a buck too. Like he's usually injured.
Right. And from the get-go this season, he was saying the right things in training camp. He's trying to play games. He's trying to basically revamp his market. But I have a feeling he goes to a contender, he'll have he'll wake up there, because he's talented, man. I mean, listen, I got on Bridges just because of the lack of aggressiveness, but ain't too many guys when he's on that can guard Zach LaVine.
This is true, man. This is a true statement indeed. But on that note, man, we got another game ahead this Friday. Knicks will be back at it, facing the
Gato Grande, the big cat,
the big bodega. They'll be back at it, playing the Brooklyn Nets. Should be easy wins. Although, look, as I said yesterday, man, you can't. I know should be. But these Nets are actually playing feisty. I've been saying they've been playing feisty, man. They've been like just shockingly
like
in it. I know. Just so you can't take any of these nights easy, man. None of these nights are going to be easy at all. But based on the talent that we have, it should be a dub, man. But we'll see, man. We'll get back to it.
Just real quick, I hate playing a team like that back to back. Cause you know how it is, man. If you into the stock market, you into trading and stuff. You heard of the law of averages, the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs, and the way the NBA is. Like, sometimes you think you're gonna go 2-0 in these matchups, and somehow you end up going 1-1, and you're like, how do we lose one game to this team? And so, yes, it's a favorable matchup. You should win, but I hate the schedule doing it, like playing that team back to back, because it's just, I can see Cam Thomas, one of those two games, drops 40 on us. Oh my goodness gracious! You can see it happening. You can see it happening. Drops 40 on Bridges, and then we're like, oh my god.
That's okay. So that scenario right there is a nightmare scenario right now. It's just because you know what's going to happen. Because you know what's going to happen. You're going to get the Nets fans, the small faction of Nets fans, all 12 of them are going to get riled up and they're going to be like, oh, see, we gave you the wrong player. You should have gotten Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas is legit. We never wanted Bridges anyway. Da-da-da-da-da-da. You don't run New York. Blah, 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 blah. That's just how they're going to be, man. All 12 of them. But it is what it is, man.
How about this?
What?
I just remembered. Of course, this is his former team. Guess what? Hey, Mikel, if you're listening, if you're watching, these 2 games, how about let's make these 2 games your 2 best defensive games of the season? It's
revenge game for Bridges?
Yeah, right? Like, come on. We don't need you to be Brooklyn Nets Bridges against the Nets. We don't need you to drop 25, 24, 30. We don't need that Bridges on this team. Let's ramp up that defense. Let's get the consistency up back to back against your former team. That's enough motivation. And let's get let's get a couple dubs.
Yeah, man. Let's get a couple dubs. Salute to Knicks Nation, man. Salute to all you for tuning for another KFTV post-game live. Unfortunately, the game didn't end the way that we wanted. It came down to a final shot by JB against Patrick Williams' baseline jumper that just needed to drop, man. Instead, we got the Kawhi Leonard, opposite of the Kawhi Leonard effect when they played the Sixers, man, in the semi. So, unfortunately, that's how the cookie crumbles. Knicks lose 124-123, but salute to Knicks Nation for tuning in yet again. Salute to all the franchise channel members. Let me give you all a little shout out. We got Ice Pick Paulie in here. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. We got D Block 1755 in here as well. Who else we got in this chat? What other channel members that we got in here? We got Jamaica Queens 22 always rocking with us. Shout out to you. We got my guy Chief Mod in Operation TM. Shout out to you, my guy. Shout out to all the mods, man. Shout out to all the mods who are working hard in here as well. I see you above the rim. Shout out to you. And shout out to some of the regulars, man. I see you G5 Weez in here. Shout out to KG7 Full. Who else we got? We got Barbara Carol in here as well. Shout out to you. We got Coach Rubens. Shout out to you for being a franchise channel member. Shout out to JJ for being a franchise channel member. Shout out to Rare Edition for being a franchise channel member as well. Oh, we did get a super chat. Ice Pick Paul with a $20 super chat. Shout out to you. He says, relax, everyone. We still have 71 games left. Whenever the bench gets right, we'll see where we are. We tried the whole put defense in, and Frank got cooked by Trae Young. Said, take a seat, people. Relax.
I had the cigar ready. I was about to come in like, hey, yo, Alex. I was just going to come here and just listen to you. I was just going to be here. Alex, I'm just going to hear you break this game down. You break down Cat's game. And I'm just going to be, just call me if you need me.
Call you if you, don't worry, man. There's going to be a night like that. Don't worry. I will guarantee there will be a night like that. So don't worry. It's somewhere in the books. Don't worry. Yo, shout out to Junior Caroma for being a franchise channel member as well. Mr. Don's in here. Do Things in here. Eric L. Beach. Shout out to you, my guy. All right. And we got Muhammad Mustafa in here as well. Shout out to all you for being franchise channel members. Diane L. Shout out to you as well, my guy. Shout out to everyone. We got Bees Noriega. Okay. All the franchise channel members showing up and showing out before we sign off. Oh, we got a super chat from above the rim. JD and Alex. Mikel or B.I.? Wow.
Who's B.I.?
Brandon Ingram.
Brandon Ingram?
Yeah. Go. What? Oh my goodness, man. We're doing this already?
Oh, dude.
Give Bridges a chance, man. Just let's give Bridges a chance. Good Lord.
Well, honestly, even with what we're seeing, Bridges is a better fit for this team. He just needs to step it up. Like,
he can shoot the three.
Where you putting Brandon Ingram? Like, first of all, it's already a challenge. I had mentioned Bridges has never played the two. He's playing the two on this team. That's why sometimes things are not as fluid, because he's not that 6'5", 6'6" two guard with some ball handling ability in terms of the two guard ball handling ability. So like he needs a lot of the pick and rolls, pick and pops for his game. So I even that, people not talking a lot about that. But even that's an adjustment period for him. Him being a two guard, he's always been a three. Going up to the two, you're a little bit more out in the perimeter. You're next to the point guard. It's a little bit of different. But Bridges is a better fit for this team. Better player. I don't know.
Better fit for this team is where I'm going with, especially because you need 3-point shooting. Just give it time, people. Let's just give it time. But salute to everybody once again. Look, if you can't catch the show live, you already know what to do. Make sure to go to any audio listening platform.
That game is crazy.
Yo, the fact that he just, bro, the way that he just gets downhill and does a turnaround mid-range fadeaway jump
Come on,
is insane.
Come on, man. We could be talking about that midi. We could be talking about that midi game right now.
It's insane.
But it's just
other things else got to click, man. Other things else got to click.
Because that mid-range game, man, he had a few big shots. Like, he had 20. Yo, there's some positives, but when you don't win the game, got to break down why.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. But like I was saying, if you can't catch the show live, go to any audio listening platform, Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitch, you name it. We are there, so make sure to go check us out there. Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms as well, man. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. We're all over the place, man. You can catch us anywhere. Make sure to support all the hosts, JD, CK, obviously the main guy himself, CP, and follow everybody else that does work, man. We got Gamba, Tyler, TM. We all got social media accounts, so make sure to follow everybody who's doing the work behind the scenes that you don't even see. And also, make sure to sign up for the KFTV newsletter, man. Jalen doing a phenomenal job putting that together. We got Remy, KFTV Remy, giving you his Remy recaps every single day, breaking down the games. We got Jeff, we got Chris, we got everybody. We got everybody putting in work, covering this team 24/7, so you can never miss a beat. Salute to all you for tuning in once again. We'll catch you later this week when the Knicks face the Brooklyn Nets. All right, everyone, we out.